Greetings, salutations, and welcome to SportsLook, the sports television program for the high plains of West Texas and eastern New Mexico. I'm your host, Doc Elder, and just like a Kool and the Gang song from back in the day, it's ladies' night. We're going to have one young lady from Greyhound Rodeo. We're going to have three young ladies, including the head coach from Greyhound Volleyball. I'll finish up with an overtime, but as always, I'll start out with an Eastern recap. We're going to have Greyhound Volleyball. We're going to have Greyhound Rodeo on this episode, so I will not talk about those athletic contests. I'll simply point out that Greyhound Soccer is still looking for their first W this season. They dropped a 3-0 decision to the University of Texas Permian Basin. But Greyhound football, they got their first win, and they got their first win in a big way. They clobbered Midwestern State 56-31. Well, that has been your Eastern recap, so we'll clear this out and we'll bring in three young ladies from Greyhound Volleyball. Right now. Welcome back to SportsLook, and we bring to the set of SportsLook three young ladies that are associated with Eastern New Mexico University Volleyball. We've got the head coach, we've got Imani, we've got Sophia. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Coach, it doesn't seem like that long ago that we had you on as a guest, but a lot has changed in the world since then, especially the fact you got your first two W's of the season.
Yes, sir.
So what was it doing the same thing, only doing it better, or was there a change that took place going into the two matches last weekend?
I think definitely a lot of changes, mentality change. I think number one is we just had to really focus on where we were bleeding points. And so we really honed in on that during our practices and, had a big emphasis on those things. And then I also think just keeping them motivated and kind of talking about our goals and like what we're expecting from one another and also each other was a big shift that we had to make. And then, especially when you're in a rebuild, it's really important to remind the girls of the small wins. And the first win is always the hardest. So just kind of, keeping that to their awareness and continuing to grow in that aspect instead of losing hope in what could come.
So obviously there are things you have to do well to win a volleyball match. You have to serve effectively. You've got to be good at the net. You've got to dig the ball. You've got to set the ball. Of all those aspects, which did you grade out highest in the Sol Ross match, and which aspect graded out highest in Western New Mexico?
Well, that's a tough question. I would say that a lot of things have to go right to win a game. I would say serving and passing, I think, is the most important. So we had initially, early in the season, our first tournament, we missed like 57 or 58 serves. If I'm not mistaken, it was rough, but we're starting to serve aggressive, which is part of the process. And so we're really focusing on having a 2 ace to 1 air ratio. We haven't quite gotten there, but we were lucky enough this weekend that we definitely lowered that ace to air ratio. It's getting closer. So we were able to I would believe that was a big reason as to why we got those two wins over the weekend.
Very good. Well, Imani, first chance that we've had to have you on SportsLook. So talk a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and what was the process that got you here to Eastern?
Oh, well, I'm from El Paso, Texas. I transferred actually from a junior college out in Borger, Texas, Frank Phillips. Fun fact, I actually played against Coach Karli a couple of times. So every single year, we're little rivals. And then Coach Poyer, he recruited me here, and this is my second year here.
So what was the selling point about Eastern? What did you like about the school?
I really liked the community and the Coach Poyer as well. He was just very welcoming into the program. The girls that I had initially come on the visit with, they were also very welcoming. They had really good things to say about just like the academics, the community. That was a big thing for me.
Let me ask you a question. Obviously, there is a difference between any two coaches. So
Right.
if you talk about Coach Poyer and talk about Coach Bustos, what do they have in common, but what sets them apart as coaches?
In common, I would say they both really care about us as not just athletes, but as people. So I was lucky enough. I didn't have Coach Poyer for a very long time, but even in that short amount of time, like I'm confident to just go up to him and just to be able to talk to him because we did have the chance to get close to him. Difference-wise, there's a lot. Just kidding. No, for me, the biggest difference with Coach Karli is that she expects a lot from us on the court and off the court. So I feel like I've developed a lot as an athlete, but also as a person, mentally, physically, like in every aspect. So I think I can speak for a lot of the girls. Like we all just feel confident coming in and just being open to the processes that she's trying to pull out of us and things like that. So I would say that's the biggest difference.
Well, Sophia, I'll ask you the same question. What are the similarities between Coach Poyer and Coach Bustos, and what are the differences?
I think both coaches really want us to succeed. And like Imani said, like they're two people that I can just go to, talk to whenever I need something. So I can lean on them whenever I need to. I think the difference is that Coach Poyer's, he's a laid back coach, I feel. He's very calm. Not that Coach Karli isn't calm. She's calm. She's just like more, I guess, upbeat is a good way to say it. She's very upbeat. She's always like has energy, she always brings something to us, to the table. So I think that's a big difference. She's just her personality is very different compared to Coach Poyer's.
Well, Sophia, there are a number of players like your teammate Imani who have transferred into Eastern. You're kind of the exception of the rule. You started at Eastern, you're still at Eastern. And when you were young, who was the player that really took you under her wing and kind of showed you the ropes? And now that you're the veteran, who are you mentoring this year?
I think, honestly, whenever I was a freshman, there was Darcy Dodd that was here that kind of took me under her wing. She really helped me get through it because I didn't really play my freshman year, so that was a little hard for me. But so she kind of took me under her wing, got to, kind of ride that wave. But it was a good year. What was your other question?
Who have you mentored this year now that you're the veteran?
I think the other outside, Addison Bartlett. I think I've kind of taken her under my wings, so she plays my position, so it's kind of easy, and she's very coachable. So, yeah.
And you are from just down the road in Roswell, New Mexico, and that has to be cool that any time that we do get a chance for a home match, there's going to be a pretty good contingent of people coming to watch you.
Yes, exactly. I'm hour 15 from home, so I literally went home this weekend just on a Sunday just to visit them. So, yeah, it's nice.
Excellent. Well, Coach, we'll go back to you. There obviously, we talked about the 4 things that you really need to do while to win a volleyball match. What area has progressed the farthest? What area do you think still needs a little work?
I would say back to the serving and passing. When I had first arrived on campus, like day 1, I was like, okay, everybody serve. And these balls were sky balls. Like, I was like, okay, this needs to improve. And I think overall just our ball control as a whole, really honing in on that. And I'm pretty skill oriented as a coach. And so I think we really, in the spring, we had a lot of time, especially with the returners, just to kind of refine our skills, and then really utilizing our returners to try to also help us coach those skills as well and hold each other accountable in those aspects. And then you asked what needed to grow. I would say, I'm trying to think here. I think we're doing pretty well for the most part. I still think our out of system needs to improve tremendously, just because we need to utilize both pins more. We're relying heavily on Sophia and Addison Bartlett, who she mentioned, and I would like to utilize our opposites more, just to be a little bit more offensive, and then also just kind of including our middles, because we're not running a well-balanced offense yet. And so I think, we have freshman setters, so just trying to teach them those things, that's part of a big difference from high school to college as well.
Very good. Imani, let's talk a little bit about you as the student in the term student athlete. What are you majoring in, and what do you hope to do with your life?
I'm going into communicative disorders, so I hope to go into speech pathology. I'm not sure which pathway I want to go in that. But I've also sparked an interest in coaching. I coached a club team last year, and yeah, I fell in love with it. So now I'm really looking to go progress in that a little bit more.
So if you had your druthers, would you coach high school? Would you coach college, or does it really matter?
I've only been able to coach little girls, so they were like 9, 10-year-olds.
Okay.
So I did love it, but I also definitely want to be able to experience different ages. So.
Very good. Well, Sophia, looking at your years at Eastern New Mexico University, you've obviously had a lot of classes, and put you on the spot. What's the best class that you've had in your major? What's the best class that you had that was just a gen ed class or something to fill in the hours?
So not bio, is that?
Yeah. So bio and then anything but bio.
Okay. Honestly, I'm taking dance appreciation right now. And it's so fun.
And you appreciate it, yeah.
I do appreciate it. Yeah, we have to take videos of ourselves dancing, and I'm taking it with 2 teammates. And so it's actually a really fun class. I recommend it to anyone. Learning ballet right now, actually.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
And how about in bio? What was the best class or the best professor?
I like Dr. Srijit. He was my genetics teacher. That was one of my favorite classes. So.
Very good.
Yes.
Well, Karli, we've talked about you, but we've talked about you in terms of you're this place, you're that place, you're somewhere else. We're finally next week going to get a chance to see you in person. So talk a little bit about how special it's going to be to have your first match in the Steve Loy Family Foundation Stadium.
Well, I'm excited. It's obviously going to be our first match here at home. I'm a native to New Mexico, so this has always kind of been a dream of mine to coach a Division II in my home state. So I'm excited, and I think, that there's a lot of room for a Division II right now in New Mexico to kind of be kind of the top dog. So I'm hoping that our team and, my coaching staff and I can take us there. So I think it's going to be an exciting moment to kind of just see it all come into fruition, and almost, not to be cliche, but kind of like a dream moment for me. So I'm really excited.
Imani, for people who come out and watch the Greyhound volleyball team in action, if there's one thing that they walk away from the arena thinking about, what's the one thing you hope that they'll carry away about Greyhound volleyball?
I want them to see how close our team is. Like, we're working a lot on becoming a family, and I feel like we've definitely gotten there, and just the energy, win or lose, like we're there, we're fighting for every single point. Just to see how close-knit we all are together.
And Sophia, will give you the last question because you're the veteran, you've been here the longest. So give us like one word or a couple words that describe what being a Greyhound volleyball player means to you.
I think strong. Strong woman is what I'd say.
I couldn't have, that's the best encapsulation that I could have come up with. So ladies, congratulations on getting your 2 first wins in conference, and let's hope the next time we get you on, we can talk about a whole bunch more.
Thank
Thank you.
All right, well, that is going to wrap up the first interview segment, so we'll clear this out and we'll bring in our second guest. Bye now. Welcome back to Sports Look, and we bring to the set of Sports Look a young lady from Greyhound Rodeo, Gracie Hillrud. And Gracie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Gracie, where are you from, and what was the process that got you the rodeo squad at Eastern?
I'm from Saskatchewan, which is up in Canada, and I met Albert Flynn, who was the old head coach at the National High School Rodeo Finals. And he asked me to come and visit, so I came and visited, and now I'm here.
So talk a little bit about your association with the sport of rodeo. If you can remember back that far, at what age did you first get on a horse?
Super young. My mom barrel raced, so it's kind of just been something that we've always done. We never played any other summer sports because we were always barrel racing and gone on the road.
That was going to be my next question. So we've eliminated summer sports and you played in winter sports.
I played hockey since I was 4. I started hockey.
Wow.
Yep.
So what position?
I was a center when I played with the boys, and then I went and played girls AA, and I was a winger.
Mm-hmm. So did you ever have any hopes or aspirations of playing for the Canadian national team?
No, when I was younger, grade 11 or 12, I got offered a spot on a AAA hockey team, which is like a gateway to a college team, and I just didn't want to do it. To me, it was more of like a hobby than something I wanted to be that dedicated to.
And rodeo is a passion.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about what is the rush that you get from that?
I think it's like you work so hard and you have to take care of your horses. They literally rely on you to survive. And so you're working on yourself to become a better rider and control your emotions and everything, but you also have to take care of your horse, which I think makes it that much more rewarding.
Yeah, that's the great thing about rodeo from my perspective is that it's a symbiotic relationship. Your horse depends on you, but you depend on your horse.
Exactly.
So how did you select the horse that you currently ride?
My sister ran my horse's full sister, and we really loved her. So then when my horse came along, we hopped on the opportunity to buy her too.
And obviously you want a horse that's fast, you want a horse that's responsive. How would you describe your horse?
She has tons of personality, which is good and bad sometimes, but she definitely likes to run. Sometimes she will blow by a barrel because she likes to run too much, but that's all right.
Well, obviously we wanted to get on Representative Greyhound Rodeo because last week was a significant week. It was College Days Rodeo. And talk about the experience.
It was actually ran super smoothly, which was awesome. Our coach, John Sharp, this is his first year, and he did an awesome awesome job organizing. Everything ran super smooth. I think it was a huge success.
Well, let's take a detour. I was going to just ask you a bunch of questions about College Days Rodeo, but let's talk about your coaches because you've actually had an association with 3 coaches, if I remember correctly. There's Albert Flynn, Grady Goodson stepped in on an interim basis, and now John Sharp. So talk about those 3 individuals.
Albert is one of the most kind-hearted individuals ever. He's basically like a grandpa. Him and Jenny are awesome to us. My first year here, I didn't really know anybody, and for Thanksgiving, he invited me to a lady's house, which was awesome. Grady is also so kind-hearted. For him to hop in like that on such short notice while he has a family and a store to run was honestly exceptional, and he did awesome helping everybody at the practices and making sure we all felt in the loop as much as we could during that situation. And John is doing an awesome job of upping like our sponsorships and getting us new equipment, and it's been really good so far this year.
And it occurs to me, thinking about it, that when you look at Albert Flynn, he has the connection all the way back to the beginning of Greyhound Rodeo.
Yes, definitely. He's been here a while.
So talk about Coach Sharp. I mean, obviously coming in, he has to sell you on his vision for the program, but you also have to demonstrate I should be one of the people that gets to ride and score points for Eastern. So what was that process like?
He's young and innovative, and he knows like what the sport is gonna progress into. And so we're all just trusting his process and his deals that he's bringing in. And yeah, like I said, so far it's been awesome.
So talk about the rodeo in terms of, from a team perspective, talk about it in terms of from an individual perspective. How did it go for the team? How did it go for you?
Our teams did awesome. We have a men's team and a women's team, obviously. Our women's team finished second, I believe, out of 10 teams, and our men's team finished third, which is super awesome. And I finished 14th in the barrels. That's what I do, is I barrel race. They take 10 to the short round, so I was just out of that, but I kind of rode like a monkey. So I'm hoping I can build on that for this weekend in Canadian.
I was not, I got a chance to go out and watch Friday, but I didn't get the memo on how well the teams go. I would dare say that's probably the best combined finish by the Greyhound men and the Greyhound women in a long time.
I think it has been. We have an awesome team this year. I'm super excited.
So who on an individual basis had the best showing for the women? Who on an individual basis was the best shower for the guys?
Mackenzie Dermondy won the goat tying, which was awesome. She won both rounds. She's a graduate student here. She's new. And then on the boys team, Bodie Neese, who is from Portales actually,
Yes.
was the reserve champion in the tie down roping.
Man, well, that's amazing when you get one, but when you get two, that's awesome. So going into the meet, a lot of people will just show up at 7 o'clock and everything's ready to go, but there's a lot of prep time that goes into putting that on.
Yeah, on Monday, I think it was, the week before, we started cleaning the grounds and stuff. And before that, I don't even know how much work John and Shacey and Albert put into it, getting like calves for everybody to rope and the bucking stock. They do so much work behind the scenes. It's crazy. And then while the rodeo is going on, our team is responsible for making sure everything is running smoothly. So we have to open the chutes, set barrels, sort calves, all of that stuff.
And how is that work divided up? Is it kind of seniority where the more veteran people have the easier jobs, or is it pretty much just this is something I can do and I'll do it?
Our coaches assigned our jobs. It was kind of based on like, if you don't do that event, you're kind of required to work. We have such a small team this year, not super small, I guess, but small enough. So basically through all the events, everybody was working whatever chance they could get just to make it easier on everyone else.
Gracie, think back to when you first got to Eastern New Mexico University. There's usually one person on a squad that really goes out of his way or her way to make the newcomers feel welcome. And who was that welcome agent for you?
Probably Shacey Marr, who is now our assistant coach. She always made sure that practice times worked for me and was always accommodating to help me during my practices and stuff.
And I actually thought of a question that I was going to ask you, and I'm going to loop back to it. And I'll test my knowledge of all things Canadian here. Canada doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving on the fourth Thursday of November. I think your Thanksgiving is October 5th?
The second Monday of October,
Second Monday.
I think.
Okay, so it never falls on the 5th, but it's right, okay, well, I feel better about it myself. So let's ask you a question about Canada. What's the one thing that you miss most about, outside of your family, what's the one thing you miss most about Canada?
I miss where I lived. It was like in the middle of nowhere. We drove half an hour to school, half an hour to the closest grocery store. It's green, it's beautiful. That's what I miss the most.
Well, it's beautiful here in Portal. It's not necessarily green. So let's talk about, okay, I got to ask you one. Have you ever eaten at a Tim Hortons?
Yes, I have. They have the best sour cream glazed donuts ever.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I was at the airport in Winnipeg not all that long ago. I had to go to the Tim Hortons there. All right, so let's talk about you in terms of being a student. What are you majoring in?
I'm a biology pre-med major.
Very good. So what do you hope to do with your life?
I think maybe I'm going to go to chiropractic school. I'm in my 4th year here of my undergrad. And then after this year, I hope to get my master's in communications, also from Eastern, and then attend a chiropractic school.
Wow, excellent. Well, I have a chiropractor here in Portales that definitely has straightened me out literally and figuratively. So let me ask you about your classes. Of all the classes you've had at Eastern, what's the best class that you've had?
Oh boy. I took a jewelry making class, and that was super cool. Because it's totally different than anything else I've ever taken. And we actually literally got to build jewelry on our own. So that was a lot of fun.
And who was the professor, if you can remember? Was it Greg Sen still?
Yes.
Yep.
Greg Sen.
Good friend of mine. And who's the best bio professor?
I really enjoy Dr. Barlow's lectures.
Dr. Barlow's son used to be a part of the SportsLook crew.
Oh, yeah.
So I've known Matt for a long time. He just got promoted to full professor. So. Well, Gracie, thank you so much. Congratulations on the great showing, and let's hope that this is a year when Greyhound ladies and the Greyhound guys both show up in Wyoming for the National College Finals Rodeo.
Thank you for having me. I hope so too.
All right, well, that is going to wrap up the interview segment of SportsLook, so we'll clear this out, and I'll finish up with an overtime right now. Earlier this week, Major League Baseball pitcher announced that he was going to retire at the end of the season. Pitched for 18 years, and during those 18 years, he's only got a 13-13 record in postseason competition with a 4.49 earned run average. Not exactly Hall of Fame material, you might be saying, but what if I told you during the regular season, he's got 3,000 strikeouts. There are only 20 pitchers in the history of Major League Baseball that can say that. 3 Cy Young Awards, and for any pitcher who's pitched 300 games or more, he's got the best winning percentage. We're talking about Clayton Kershaw, and even though Clayton has not really been dominant in the postseason, I think you'd have to say his regular season work definitely will get him into the Hall of Fame in 5 years. Well, that will finish up in overtime, and that will finish up an episode of SportsLook. I'd like to thank Greyhound Rodeo. I'd like to thank Greyhound Volleyball. I'd like to thank my floor director, Mr. Kyle, doing a great job of stepping in this week. So for all those aforementioned people, this is Doc Elder saying, so long.